Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be part of this very important event, which I've been watching it grow over the years. Sanjam has tirelessly worked on making this event bigger and bigger each year. So it's a pleasure to be here. And I do see that the room is just full of very smart women. And one of the things that my wife taught me is that men should know that when they are in the presence of smart women, they should know to shut up. So I'm going to follow that advice today. So what we'll do is, we'll let each of them, Dr. Ilona and Dr. Delna, to introduce themselves of their achievements in life to inspire the young cadets there. And also say what's on their mind on this topic. And once we've given them enough time, I think totally we have only 12 or 13 minutes. We'll then have a couple of questions from me, and then we'll open it up for questions with you. So go ahead, Dr. Ilona.
Good afternoon. It's so nice to be here again. It became a good tradition, actually, to support Sanjam and SheEO and all this. You know, I'm really happy all the time to see these young faces, both girls and boys, and the number is growing. So this is really very excited. I'm a medical doctor and I'm practicing physician. I work in maritime medicine and as a general practitioner. And somehow I represent here now 3 organizations. It's International Maritime Health Association, when I was a president some years ago, and I'm really proud that we have a 3rd female president right now, Dr. Sue Stannard from UK. Also, it's MarineNet, Maritime Health Research and Education Net, which we established during the COVID time with some colleagues from the different countries, and WISTA Russia, the Russian chapter of WISTA. So I work quite a lot with the seafarers, and daily I hear what kind of problems and need they have.
Very good afternoon to all of you. I'm Dr. Delna, and I'm the training superintendent with Bernhard Schulte Ship Management. I started my career 18 years ago when Captain Chawla interviewed me. I have been involved in leadership training and curriculum, and right since morning, this was an amazing experience to see the younger generation engaging. And Sanjam, this is a beautiful platform that you've provided for our cadets, because I very strongly believe that leadership starts from the cadetship, starts from self, and starts from the time you enter this career. Thank you.
So now may I ask Dr. Ilona what her views on this topic of how mind, body, and AI are going to be interacting and keeping us sane in the future world. Thank you.
You know, it's very interesting. When I ask my little son, well, little, he's 22, can you create for mama any picture for the presentation? He say, no, I eat the devil. It's, I'm against the, you know, all this time. So I ask usually, and he really involved in computer things. So I ask the elder one who is not on this, and he's easily doing this for this. So it's a lot of pluses, but there is some minuses as well. We can easily learn, easy teach, easy find the information, but there is also some problems in case that we will have no electricity, some problems with the computer, or the information can be leaked. So somehow it should be fed back with some kind of old, you know, ways of paperwork or something. And there is also a question, because for many years we're running with the idea of kind of health passport for the seafarer, because they passing the medical examination every 1 or every 2 years, and usually on the certificate you cannot see any health issues. There's just fit or not fit. But in case something happened, and they're hiding a lot of things, unfortunately. So in case that something happened on board, to find out what was a primary case, it's quite difficult. So the idea was, to have this electronic file, to be able to seen by everyone, and then there is a question, who will hold the primary information, and if this is violate his rights or no. So it's, we have to balance it. We have to balance, and the line is very, very thin.
Delna, your views?
I feel digitalization and e-learning and digital tools are transforming maritime education. Not only education, but it also plays a very important role when it comes to enhancing overall well-being. For instance, AI-driven platforms, they can be tailored to individual roles, to learning styles, which make it a lot more engaging. We have micro-learning, which is very powerful. So bite-sized modules, which are roughly about 2 to 10 minutes, which again reduce monotony, and it also brings about more learning and more engagement. We have gamification, which I really find very interesting. VR simulations, which make it a lot more easier to practice critical operations leadership scenarios in real time. One thing, like the drawbacks are, one is cognitive overload. Sometimes what happens, and from what I hear, seafarers are constantly bombarded with streams of information, streams of data, which sometimes leads to overload. Sometimes it blurs the lines between work and rest. That's one thing. Another thing is upskilling. Technology requires constant upskilling. So people who may be used to paper and the old schools of working may become a little bit overwhelmed, and it may bring about anxiety. Another thing is sometimes when there are interfaces which are not standardized, that can also bring about a little bit of confusion and anxiety. So I think the key is balance, the key is mentoring, the key is making it simple, and it needs to be designed well. So if it's used intelligently, then I think it enhances overall efficiency. Thank you.
Before I continue, can I get a show of hands from the youngsters about how many of you use ChatGPT or DeepSeek or one of the AI tools on a daily basis? Okay, that is interesting. It's kind of more than 50% for sure. So what would y'all advise with respect to how the youngsters are going to deal with the usage of it? And in the education world, what do you see going forward is the use of examinations that are basically assessing people on remembering and vomiting out knowledge in an examination? How do we change that for the future?
Well, it's a bit a harsh question. I can tell you that some universities and colleges, you sign the document in the beginning that you will not use IE in your work and examination. Of course, we have to understand that living without now, it's hardly possible. I'm personally, when you need a very fast summary of the information, you just press. In Russia, we have Alisa. And she's immediately, bringing you the brief information. But then you search. But then you search the normal articles. I still read the...
Problem with the mic. Can everybody hear her? Or? Yeah.
We will be somehow over this IE. So it should be combined, it should be both, and we have to be very careful because unfortunately the falsification, especially and plagiarism, it's quite common nowadays.
Dr. Delna?
I think, as I mentioned earlier, the balance is important. Sometimes you do need downtime to recover because when there is overload, sometimes your brain just shuts down. So I think using reading, also combining it with information that you get from AI-driven tools, digital tools, I think the balance is the key.
Okay, let me move over to something because there's no timer out here, so I don't really know how it goes. Is there one? Okay. Oh, okay, so we have 6 minutes left. I mean, it's a little difficult, no eyes at the back, so. Let me then try and steer it so that we have time for questions from the audience. Just to quickly say, my background was 32 years in ship management in Anglo-Eastern as safety and head of training. And actually all the stuff that Delna talked about, micro-learning, gamification, that's what I do now in my second innings after retiring from Anglo-Eastern. So coming to your experience with IMHI, my experience says that are we doing enough in terms of the medical standards that are existing today for the health of seafarers, in terms of using all that is the advancements in modern medicine. As an example, defibrillators are not mandatory even today in the IMHI scales. And the advancements in telemedicine that we see over land, especially in countries like Australia and US and Russia with vast hinterlands where there is a difficult to get doctors in. What can we do more in terms of helping the health, both mental and physical, of the seafarers by looking at these standards?
Well, I start with the defibrillator because it's quite a hot topic and it's very close to the heart of IMHA members. In fact, in September, in IMO, during the Maritime Safety Committee, the subcommittee, this question was brought by an international bulk terminal association, which think that we would like to require the IDA on every ship. Right now, it's mandatory only by Germans. UK recommend and some cruise companies, or it's according to the ship owner. The information that approximately 1,700 cardiac arrests happened every year, and this can be, of course, a saving, tool. In fact, in the newest International Maritime Health Guide we call it not for ships, but for seafarers and fishers, which were published by IMHA and International Chamber of Shipping last year, we mentioned that all the ships type A and B should carry a defibrillator on board. In general, the countries were in favor, but they refer to their medical advisors, and there is a question like, dust, vibration, how the training should be done. So IMO was in favor in general, but because this topic is not covered by STCW and MLC, they think that there is more, should be concern of ILO. So I think we should make an amendment then to STCW, to the model courses of training and to the MLC and install it. When somebody talking about the cost, it's not too much for the shipping company. It's around 1,000–2,000 euro and the proper training and drillings all the time, because if it's wife in 5 years, it's definitely not enough. Also about telemedicine, we're trying to implement it as much as possible, and if you see the guide, every time it's written, contact the TMAS first. Also, we're trying to establish a curriculum for the TMAS doctors, and in 2024, it was a workshop in Esbjerg in Denmark when we're trying to teach the doctors how to react and how to consult. One of the problems is the language. because it's better when the seafarer will talk to the doctor who is speaking his own language, because very often something gets lost in the translation.
We have AI for that now. My company, we do translation of all the videos that we make for learning in 15 different languages for the seafarers, and it's all done by AI, 97, 98% accurate. So that problem we can solve with AI. Dr. Delna, with your experience in ship management in 2 companies now, what does the industry do when a seafarer actually reports a mental health issue and comes back home? What do you see? I don't see too many crew management people in the room that I can recognize, but what do you see as the experience of our industry in actually giving support to people in order to report mental health issues?
Thank you, Captain Chawla. Once a seafarer reports a mental health concern, initially what happens is he may be repatriated, and a mental health concern triggers assessment. So there would be an assessment which he would have to undergo. If he is declared temporarily unfit for sea service, then unfortunately the path to sea service is unclear. It's unclear. Another thing is, if he is permanently declared unfit, then again what is the pathway for a gradual reintegration to duty again remains unclear. Another thing is, what I feel is the narrative is slowly changing. This is slowly changing. When we look at some forward-thinking maritime companies and recruitment agencies, they have put into place confidential support systems. They have put into place return-to-work transparent protocols, and also onboard peer support, which is important. Another thing is, a lot of the recruitment agencies sometimes may not be aware, or they may not have a structured support, in which case the seafarer is left alone to look at recovery and re-employment all on his own. What I strongly believe in is that we need to move from a punitive medical model to a more rehabilitative medical model. What I mean by this is that mental health needs to be looked at as a health condition, and also we need to stop blanket exclusions. It would be worthwhile to look at transparent protocols where they can be gradually reintegrated once fitness for duty is restored. Also, counseling, follow-up counseling plays a very, very important role. And also science has come a long way. So you can have complete recovery from a mental health condition many a times. So I think it's very important that we look at these, and mental health should be seen as not a liability, but something which is very, very critical to overall well-being. Thank you.
Thanks. We're running out of time. I'm sorry that we can't take questions because that's gone in red now in the plus. So we'll finish with that, and I'm sure Dr. Ilona and Dr. Delna will be happy to answer questions during the next coffee break. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.